Afiq is interested in applying for an Islamic financing product, but he has some concerns.
Ismail, I'm thinking about applying for an Islamic financing product. I worry about the term and condition.
Why are you worried about it?
I want to make sure everything is transparent and that's my right as a customer are protected.
Oh, that's a good point. Let's go to the bank and ask for more information.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, what can I help you guys? Good morning. I'm interested in this Islamic financing product. Could you explain to me? Of course. Before you make any decision, we will explain all the important details, including the cost, risk, and terms of the product. Why is that important? It is important because Islamic banks follow IFSB and IFSB standard. This standard promotes transparency, fairness, and consumer protection.
Oh, so customer receive a clear information before they sign any agreement? That's your mean?
Exactly. Customer must fully understand the product before making any decision. What if I have complaint letter? Of course, the bank will provide a proper complaint channel to ensure customer issue are handled fairly.
So, you all already know the situation about consumer protection in Islamic finance. Now, let's move on to our presentation to know more details about this topic.
Chop. Before we start our presentation, we would like to express our appreciation to Dr. Nur Adila binti Muhammad Noor for their guidance and their support.
Now we go to the introduction. Consumer protection play a very important role in the Islamic finance because it ensures that customers are treated fairly and safely in every financial transaction. Islamic finance operates based on Sharia principle that emphasize justice, trust, and public interest, also known as maslahah. Unlike conventional finance, Islamic finance prohibit elements such as riba, interest, gharar, which refer to excessive uncertainty, and maisir, which means gambling. Therefore, Islamic financial institutions are responsibility not only for offering Sharia compliant product, but also for protecting consumer rights and interests. Despite its strong ethical foundation, there are still several challenges related to consumer protecting. Some consumers have difficulty in understanding Islamic banking concepts such as mudarabah, musyarakah, and murabahah. In addition, insufficient information regarding product risk and condition can lead consumers to make poor financial decisions. This study aims to understand the importance of consumer protecting in Islamic finance, identify the issue faced by consumers, evaluate existing protection mechanism, and suggest improving for the future. Now we go to the problem statement in this study. First issue is consumer protecting challenges in Islamic finance. One of the main challenges in the imbalance of information between financial institution and consumer. Islamic financial products such as profit sharing, investment account, sukuk, and ijarah muntahiyah bisani are often more complex than conventional products. Because of this complexity, consumers may find it difficult to fully understand their right, responsibility, and potential risks. Sharia principle alone cannot guarantee complex consumer protecting because there can be difference between Islamic principle and actual industry practice. When information is unclear or incomplete, consumer may make accurate financial decision or take unnecessary risk. Okay. Next, we go to the second issue, which is challenges in applying AAOIFI and IFSB standards. Another major issue is the lack of uniformity in Islamic finance standard across different countries. For example, Bahrain widely adopt IOFI standard, while Malaysia mainly use IFRS standard together with its local Islamic finance regulation. As a result, similar Islamic financial transactions may be reported differently in different countries, making comparison between institutions more difficult. Another challenge is that Islamic finance contracts such as mudarabah, ijarah, musyarakah, and mudarabah cannot always be fully represented using conventional accounting principles. This creates difficulties for financial institutions that must comply with both international accounting standards and Sharia requirements at the same time. Okay, the last one is lack of consumer awareness. The next issue is the lack of awareness and understanding among consumers regarding Islamic banking product. Although Islamic banking has grown significantly worldwide, many consumers still do not fully understand how products such as mudharabah, ijarah, and murabaha work. This lack of understanding often create the perception that Islamic banking complicated and not very different from conventional banking. This show that consumer usually choose bank and based on practical benefit such as low charge, easy access to service, and good customer service rather than religious consideration alone. Therefore, improving financial literacy and awareness campaign is very important. Consumer need clear explanation about the benefit, function, and advantage of Islamic banking product to increase confidence and participation in the Islamic financial system. So that's all.
Next, I will talk about the application of IOFI and IFSB standards in Malaysia. Before that, we have to know what is IOFI and IFSB standards. IOFI provides standards for accounting, auditing, governance, ethics, and Sharia compliance in Islamic finance. Meanwhile, IFSB develops standards related to regulation, supervision, risk management for Islamic financial institutions. In Malaysia, financial institutions mainly follow Bank Negara Malaysia guidelines, but also incorporate many IOFI and IFSB principles. The application of these standards improves transparency, accountability, and consumer confidence. It can, it can also help ensure Islamic banking products comply with Sharia. Now, challenges faced by Islamic banking institutions. First, different interpretations of Sharia. This can create inconsistencies in Islamic banking practices. Second, limited consumer understanding also may reduce transparency and affect decision making. Islamic banks must balance Sharia compliance, regulatory requirements, and operational efficiency. These challenges can affect public confidence in Islamic finance. Next, legal and regulatory issues in consumer protection. Consumer protection in Islamic banking is governed by laws and regulations issued by Bank Negara Malaysia. Therefore, differences between domestic regulations and international standards may create compliance challenges. Strong legal and regulatory frameworks are needed to protect consumer rights. Next, improvement for consumer protection. Financial literacy and awareness of Islamic banking products should be increased among customers. Banks also should provide clear information about product features, risk, and Sharia compliance. Next, we move on to consumer rights and transparency in Islamic banking products. First, consumers have the right to receive information about banking products. So, Islamic banks must disclose product features, risks, and contractual terms transparently. Next, proper disclosure allows consumers to make informed final decisions. Other than that, transparency reduces misunderstandings and misleading practices. Finally, these practices support the objective of fairness and accountability in Islamic finance. Last but not least, comparative approaches of consumer protection in other countries. So, different countries adopt different approaches based on their legal and regulatory systems. Some countries strongly implement IOFI and IFSB standards in their framework. However, others adapt international standards according to local requirements. Despite that, all approaches aim to ensure fairness and transparency.
So next, I will explain about the finding and discussion on the consumer protection in Islamic finance in Malaysia. First, many consumers still do not fully understand about Islamic banking products such as mudharabah, musyarakah, tawarruk, and more. Some people think Islamic banking is just conventional banking with an Islamic name. So, this lack of understanding can lead to the wrong financial decision and difficulties when the problem occurs. Second, there is a lack of transparency in some Islamic financial products. For example, in their term, risk, and contract that made a consumer hard and difficult to understand. Therefore, the financial institution need to provide a clear and simple information so that consumer can understand it and can make informed decision. Next, Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad apply Sharia principle and use AAOIFI standard as their guidelines. The bank provide information and financial literacy program to improve transparency and protect consumer rights. Maybank Islamic Berhad also follow IFSB standard through the risk management and good governance practice. However, challenges remain, including compliance costs and adapting to new financial technologies. The Ombudsman of Financial Service have consumer resolve dispute with the financial institution through a free and independent process. However, many consumers are still unaware of the compliance procedure. Lastly, in case of Luno PTE Ltd Chain Code Chain, highlight the importance of consumer protection in digital financial transaction, especially in the cryptocurrency, due to the risks such as fraud, cyber attack, and trust volatility. To sum up, improving financial literacy, transparent and governance, and dispute resolution mechanism is essential to strengthen the consumer protection in Islamic finance. That's all from me.
Okay, next we will continue on finding and discussion about consumer protection in Islamic finance in Malaysia. I will talk about strategies to strengthen consumer protection in Islamic finance. First, imagine placing your saving in an Islamic bank and trust that your money is managed fairly, ethically, and according to Sharia principle. To ensure this trust is maintained, Islamic financial institutions follow standard development by the Islamic Financial Service Board, or we call as IFSB. One example is Maybank Islamic Berhad, one of Malaysia's leading Islamic banks. The banks apply IFSB standard through strong risk management system, capital adequacy requirement, and consumer protection measure. Maybank Islamic also maintain effective governance practice through its Sharia committee, internal audit function, compliance monitoring, and risk management framework. This practice help ensure that financial product remain Sharia compliant while protecting consumer from unnecessary risk. However, implementing this standard is not always easy. Financial institutions face challenges such as high compliance costs, rapid technological development, and the needs to align international standard with local regulation. Despite this challenge, IFSB standard continue to play a vital role in strengthening consumer confidence in Islamic finance. Next, we'll look at on the recommendation. Looking ahead, several strategies can strengthen consumer protection in Islamic finance. First, greater transparency and consumer education are essential. Consumers need a better understanding of Islamic financial products such as murabahah, musyarakah, ijarah, and wakalah, so that they can make informed financial decision. Second, regulators should strengthen monitoring and enforcement to ensure financial institutions comply with both Sharia principle and consumer protection law. Third, greater compliance with international standards issued by IFI and IFSB can improve governance, accountability, and transparency across the Islamic finance industry. Finally, complaint and dispute resolution mechanism should be simplified to make them more accessible and efficient for consumers. For that, in conclusion, consumer protection is fundamental element of Islamic finance. Strong governance, effective regulation, financial literacy, and international standard all contribute to protecting consumer and maintaining public trust.